Yeah.
Your new name is going to be Katie.
Katie,
Good, I like that name.
For Katie Cork.
There you go.
Katie.
All right, we're recording, so whenever you're ready, you
Oh,
can start.
Okay.
What do you, after this is made, what do you do? Go over it and cut out, or?
I have no
No,
idea.
no, we just send this
The
tape
whole
to
thing.
the New York City Museum. Pardon?
No.
My name?
My name.
My name. Okay.
Be delicious.
Guys,
You're recording, remember.
this is going, this is going to the New York State Military Museum.
Was that over?
All right, we are at Orchard Park High School. It is Thursday, October 26th, 2006. We are interviewing Mr. Hornung, who served in the U.S. Air Force during World War II. The interviewers are
Caitlin Bunker.
Joseph Lorenz.
Laura Sawyer.
Christiane Jassy.
okay. Guys, learn a lot about life in the service during World War II, and I'll be back. And please do not leave, because at the end of the interview, I want to take a group picture, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And if the interview should run over, make sure you get to all the questions and listen. Let Mr. Hornung tell a story, and if the interview should run over, I can write you PSs, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. So, all right.
So how are you today?
I'm very good, very good.
Very good.
I had to wear my
Your hat?
8th Air Force hat and my 8th Air Force shirt.
What's the symbol on your hat mean?
Well, it's the 8th Air Force, which was in England during World War II, and that's where I was based,
Oh,
in England.
for how long?
For how long?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't get over to England until near the end of the war there. I was there from the end of January 1945 till July of 1945, because the war ended.
Were you drafted or did you enlist?
I enlisted. I enlisted in 1943.
What made you want to enlist?
Well, that was a thing to do at that time.
It was the cool thing. It was a hip thing.
Well, yeah, you know. Here the Japanese attacked us, and then so forth, and then we got in the war with Germany, and that seemed to be the proper thing to do. If I didn't enlist, I would be drafted. Let's put it that way. But I was
So you wanted to show off the man skills for the ladies?
yeah, I was. I was 17 years old, and I enlisted in 1943, and then, but they did not call me into the service until 1944. Now the reason was that they had a program called Aviation Cadets. You had to take some tests, and then if you passed the tests, they would send you to cadet school, and you would go through school, and then eventually get a better position, you know, become an officer in the service, or in the Air Force. But at the time, in 1944, D-Day was June 6th in 1944, where they invaded Europe. And at that particular time after that, the war was starting to wind down from that point on. So they didn't, all of the schools, they told me, were all filled up, and they were filled up for months in advance, and they didn't expect the war to last that long, but it did last until May of 1944, at least the European war I'm talking about. So I did get in 1944, but I did not get into cadet school because they were phasing that end of it out. That's what they weren't sending anyone at that particular time. So they said, you, Irving, will make a fine gunner.
Aww.
So what could I say?
Now, why did you want to be in the Air Force?
Well,
Not
I
like
don't
the
know.
Army?
I always seemed to have a fascination for flying, and I would build model airplanes and all this type
Aw.
of thing. Yeah, I had all kinds of model airplanes, and it seemed like it would fit in what I would like to do.
Where were you living at the time?
I was living in with my parents in Buffalo.
Really?
Yeah.
What were the first few days of service like?
The first few days. Well,
Yeah, well, yeah,
I don't really recall anything spectacular happening. I mean,
Just
Were you
we
standard?
just
nervous
went
or
down
something?
to, I ended up at basic training, which was in Biloxi, Mississippi.
Ooh.
And that was in, I think it was around in July or August of 1944. And it was hot. We were there for, I don't know, it was 8 weeks or something like that.
Keep
Then,
going.
then from there, we were assigned, well, from there I went to gunnery school. And gunnery school was in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Oh, do anything fun there? Happened to be
Las Vegas, Nevada was quite different
Oh.
from what it is now. There were casinos there and that, but we didn't get too much time to do that. And what they basically did is then we became part of a crew. See, there was 10 on a crew. I was on a B-17 bomber. There were 10 on a crew, and we started working together.
So you became really close with
yeah,
them?
were they like family to you?
And what was that?
Did you become really close with the 9 other guys? Were you guys
Well,
like a
yeah,
unit
for
together?
that time, yeah. So, well, from basic training to gunnery school, and then we worked together as a crew, and then flew around the United States and that until we got familiar. And then, see, you had new pilots, you had new navigator, you had new bombers. Everybody's new on this crew here, you know. They never did these jobs before, so everybody's learning, you know. And then in January, we went to England by boat.
Oh, jeez. How long did it take?
It took about 8 or 9 days, I think. 9 days.
You don't get seasick, do you?
I never got seasick because I was basically a sailor on that, and then, you know, on the water and that, bouncing up and around, that never bothered me too much. But some of them got terribly seasick. Terribly seasick. This was an old boat. It was the Mauritania. And the Mauritania in 1945 was probably 30 years old or so, something like that. But anyway, it got us over there. And we landed in Liverpool, England. And they put us on trains, and they took us to the base at Hornung.
What was your assignment there? What was your assignment at Hornung?
What was my assignment?
Yeah.
Well, we were part of a crew, a B-17 crew that we had been training with. We were all one crew at that point. And then we were assigned an aircraft. And then we did more training over there to get familiarized with the airfields. And at that point, we were in a combat area because you could be bombed there. But at that time of the war, what was happening was that the Germans were busy defending themselves, you know.
Because the war like had a turning point, sort of?
Yes, the turning point was earlier in June of 1944 when they invaded over there. But the Germans still had a lot of resources, and they could do a lot of damage. And we were doing a lot of damage over there also. But what is your next question?
So did you see combat?
Yeah, did you actually?
Yeah,
No.
yes, I did. I flew, there was 14 missions. See,
You did all four? You did 14 altogether? Or you did like one out of the 14?
no, I flew 14.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
one at a time. One today,
I
one
got-
next week.
I gotcha.
Okay, no, there was 14 all together.
Were there many casualties in your unit?
Well, when you say my unit, see, I was part of the 95th Bomb Group. And the 95th Bomb Group was part of the 8th Air Force, see. And the 8th Air Force in England had, I don't know, a couple 100,000 people over there, and they could send up 1,300 bombers at a time. And they also had a couple thousand fighters, I believe. So when you say casualties, how big is Orchard Park now? Orchard Park, just to give you an idea, Orchard Park has 28,000 and some people that live in Orchard Park and in the village. Okay, the total 8th Air Force casualties from 1942 to 1945 were 26,000 killed. Now that almost the size of Orchard Park was wiped out in 3 years in England over there. Now that most of the casualties were before I got over there, because the bombers then, they were going out by day, which, well, the U.S. Air Force, they said that we can fly daylight bombing. The British said, no, you can't. They said, yes, we can. And the U.S. Air Force did it, so we went out and bombed during the daylight. The British bombed at night. Now, the daylight bombing took its toll in the form of heavy casualties, especially in 1943 and in 1944. Now, in some of the raids in 1944, I think the worst ones, they had like 60 aircraft go down in one day, and there's 10 per aircraft. So was like 600 guys that were either killed or missing. Most of them were killed, although there were a lot of them that parachuted and ended up in prisoner of war camps. Say.
Were you ever a prisoner of war?
No, I didn't. Fortunately, I did not get shot down. So.
Could you just tell us about like a couple of your most memorable experiences?
Well, the 14 missions that I had, there was actually 5 of them that I would say were memorable. The first mission we went out to a small town in northern Germany on the North Sea. It was called Swinemunde. And Swinemunde was a small town, and they told us we were going to bomb the docks and buildings around Swinemunde. Why we were doing that, nobody could quite figure it out. But anyway, many years later, I found out that Swinemunde, the Germans were doing there, they were building an atom bomb there. See, and they never told us this. Now, Why they didn't tell us, I don't know. Maybe they, I'm sure they did not want us to know, and maybe the Germans didn't know that they knew, and so forth. And anyway, but they were building an atom bomb there, and they Hitler decided to put his money and resources into other places rather than into the atom bomb. They were getting close.
So you took them out?
Well, we went there and we had good results that day, but never thought much about it. Then the second memorable experience was that I was on a mission one day, I think it was to Hanover, Germany, and the bomb bay doors were open, and then I had to check on, when they dropped the bombs, to check to see if all the bombs went out. Well, we had one bomb hanging on that. So, that's not good. So, the pilots they've put on a little walk-around oxygen. Now, you have to remember, these airplanes are flying at 28,000 feet or 30,000 feet. It's 40 degrees below zero. You're traveling 200 miles an hour, and you got a bomb hanging in there. And so I went out, these little walk-around, we had little walk-around bottles of oxygen, they call them, and they're only good for, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes at the most, something like that. So I did go out, and fortunately, they were trying to trip the bomb with their switches up in front, and I said, we'll try to do this together. I don't know, I gave it a little kick, and it went.
Oh,
So,
good.
but, so that was one. Then on the next memorable experience was, we were bombing a suburb of Berlin, and the suburb was Oranienburg. And the reason that we were bombing Oranienburg was that Oranienburg was a railroad marshalling yard. In other words, they put trains together there and they go all over Germany, and that was a prime target to disrupt their supply systems.
Or slow down like the German?
Slow them down and and bomb trains and whatever. Anyway, it was a very large, marshalling center they call it. So we bombed that, and then at that time of the war, there weren't many, not a lot of German fighter planes, but they had German flak. In other words, anti-aircraft guns, which was very, very heavy. When you got over the targets, it was heavy. So we got our plane got hit. Our starboard engines down between number 1 and number 2 engine over there, and it knocked out one of the engines. It cut it off, and the other engine was running, but they had cut the control cables on it now. They made a decision to, instead of shutting it off, we'd be on 2 engines then, and we had quite a ways to go back. So anyway, what they did is we were run on 3 engines for quite a while, and then when it started shaking everything apart, then they had to shut that off. But then we were only maybe a half hour from the base or something
Well,
like
that's
that.
good.
And they did shut that off. We come in on 2 engines, and we had to throw stuff out over into the English Channel. So, but we got back.
Oh, good.
When you're bombing like the small towns and stuff, do like lots of civilians die too, or just?
Well, unfortunately, yes. That does happen, because if they are in the areas, I mean, if you're bombing an industrial plant, they're gonna be working in industrial plants, you know? So,
How does
Gotta
it,
do what you gotta
like, how
do.
do you deal, like, how do the West Army people deal with that? Like,
how did what?
how do you deal with that in your unit?
Well, you think about it, but it's not a good thought, you know? And, you know, people are gonna get hurt and get killed. And, well, we had a job to do, and, well, we did it. That was it. Now, the other two memorable things are, at the close of the war there, very near the end of the war, in April, the end of April, 1945, the Germans occupied the Netherlands, see? And the Netherlands, Queen Wilhelmina, I guess it was. Yeah, she contacted Churchill and Roosevelt and said her people were starving over there. They had no food, and the Germans didn't have any food, and so they were in desperate straits. See? So evidently, what happened was that the Churchill and Roosevelt, they decided to, yes, we can help. We will try to help them. Okay, so now the way to do it was to have planes that carry supplies,
Deliver
food over there and stuff, but we couldn't do that because all of our transports were tied up supplying our own troops over there at that time. However, we had a couple thousand bombers over there, but they're not made to drop food, see? So, I decided, well, let's figure out a way that we can do that. And they did. What they did is they decided that in the bomb bay of these bombers, the doors go down, you know, to open for the round bay. And they were pretty heavy doors. They decided that they could put food in boxes and whatever right on the doors. And they found that they could put about 1,000 pounds on each door there. So each bomber carried about a ton of food. Now so what happened was that the Germans agreed not to fire on us because they were in the Netherlands there. And the war was getting close to being over. So they agreed not to do any firing on us while we were on these missions for the food missions. Now, what happened was that the British, being very proper in that, they called these missions manna. It's manna from the Bible, manna from heaven, you know. And typical Yanks, we called it chowhound. So it became the Manna Chowhound missions, and they ran about, I don't know, 7 days or so. So for that period of time, we sent over, each day we sent over like 600 bombers, and each one carrying a load of food, and they were not parachuted over. We just opened the bomb bay doors, and they dropped right out.
Where did they like in like a village or?
Well,
like
where we
center
went,
town?
they dropped them at some of the airports, and one that I went to, it was a racetrack in the Netherlands near The Hague. And the racetrack, it was called Inducted or something like that. The racetrack, we dropped the food in the inside of the track there. Now, we came over, it was only about 300 feet off the ground with these bombers there. Very low, and people were on the rooftops and waving everything, you know, and then it was in springtime too, so they had tulips in there, and the tulips they had "Thank you, Yanks" or "Thank you, boys" cut out in tulips, and it was an incredible sight. Now, what happened was that we did save them from starvation.
Aw.
Now, many years later, my wife was looking in the paper there, I don't know, she saw somewhere, and she said, "Did you know that there's a Chowhound Association?" I said, "No." She said, "Yeah," and she showed me, so I wrote in and said, "Yeah, I was a member of Chowhound," so I joined the Chowhound Association. And then in 1995, what happened was that the Dutch people invited the manna and Chowhound back to the Netherlands.
Did you go?
Oh, yes. Oh, that was a great trip. They couldn't treat us better. When we came into the airport in Amsterdam, you know, the passports, and they said, "Yeah, we didn't ask for your passports when you came over here before, you know, so we're not going to ask you for them now."
Aw.
And they met us at the airport, and then they took us all around, and they wined and dined us, and the people were so incredibly thankful. And then we found out, really, that they were losing 1,000 a day around from starvation around Amsterdam and also Rotterdam. So it was a very, very serious thing there. Anyway, I have a lot of stuff about that when I go over it later.
What did you show you brought?
You want to see some of this now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell you, the most memorable, I'll get it straight, were those two last missions there, dropping the food to the Dutch there. And when we came back after 1995, there was an article that was in the Citizen. Yeah, they wrote up an article, and I put it in the Citizen, and I got a copy of it here somewhere, if I can find it. Anyway, they wrote it up, and a few days later, we got a call from Mary and John Van Rysdam from Orchard Park.
Whoa.
They said, "Mr. Hornung, do you know we were in Holland and received some of that food?" I said, "Oh, no." And so they were there.
Were they visiting? What were they doing over there in the middle of the war?
They lived there.
Oh.
Then they came, they came there, see, they lived there, and then in the 50s, they came back and they settled in the Buffalo area. No.
Who are the photographs of?
Well, here you can take a look at some of these things. This is just on the,
Is this a note, or is this? Back home again for the unbelievable trip to Holland.
Is this your did you keep a diary?
what was that?
Did you keep like a journal?
Oh, here's the thing from.
Oh, that's what I was looking for. That's the,
Everyone see?
yeah. And
And that's the racetrack, right in the background. That's the racetrack where you drop the food.
Yes. And it happened that we were there exactly 50 years to the exact day. And,
That this came out.
yeah, can you
Wow.
believe that?
Wow.
Did they do that on purpose?
Yeah, I think they did.
Wow. That was good thinking.
Here's here's a bomber dropping the food out of the bomb bay doors there.
Manna from heaven. pretty much.
Well, this, here, you can take a look at this.
Is this your unit?
Yeah, that was the,
Oh, where are you? Which one are you?
I'm on the end over here.
Did you keep in touch with any of those guys after, like, for a while? You were close friends?
Some of them,
Aw.
Aww.
when we started to get into contact, then I found out that oh, some of the guys, they just didn't want to seem to talk too much about it. You know, after the war, guys didn't talk much about the war right after the war. It was many years later, then they decided that maybe we want to talk about it. Well, this is the 95th logo, 95th Bomb Group.
That was the thing you were in?
Yeah, that was the 95th Bomb Group. And these are the pictures. Oh, when living in Hornung, England there, we lived in tents.
Is this you?
We received, no.
Oh.
Over here somewhere.
These are just two. Is that you? That one's you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then, aww. He's in the middle.
We lived in tents at the base in England there. There was a 6-man tent, and it was cold there too, you know, it was damp. And they had a little coal stove.
So you keep warm? And you can eat?
Yeah.
Was the food? Was the food?
It wasn't
good?
exactly a vacation.
It wasn't. Was the food good, or did you guys not really have an option?
No, the food was good. We always seemed to do pretty good on that.
Did you guys talk about your girlfriends back home? Like they always do in movies?
Oh, sure.
Did you guys ever like find love like with a European girl or anything?
Oh.
It's funny, I never.
Joe, risky question.
Well, the name of our aircraft was the Creamer. And see, this is one here that
I got hit.
this was still happening.
Jeez.
Oh, they had I cut this out from the newspaper, a daily newspaper over there called the Stars and Stripes. And that was made by the Army over there, and I cut these out.
Are these your friends?
Yeah,
Aww.
but unfortunately, most of them are dead.
Really?
Yeah, see, I was really almost the youngster
young.
on the crew. Believe it or not, I was the youngster. I don't look like it now.
What grade were you when you were 17? Were you a senior, or were you out of
Well,
high school?
no, I was just finishing up school. I finished high school.
Oh, that's good.
What did you do like afterwards, career-wise? Did you go?
After the war there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to college at Buff State, and got a BS degree
A what?
in industrial arts.
Is that what you did then for the next?
Well, I never really did teach, but I did use that training and I went into business myself as a manufacturer's agent. Isn't that something?
Wow.
Is this a U.S. plane?
Yeah, that's one of our B-17 bombers.
Oh.
It broke right in half, cut in half by,
Did they make it out, or no?
I don't know. I don't know.
Are you in this picture?
Yeah, right there.
Aw.
Remember, when I was over there, I was just 19 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did you guys do for fun? You're all young and like.
What do we do for fun? There wasn't a lot of fun, but they did have little bar there that they
Oh.
served beer.
Oh.
Yeah, we used to have beer.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, the people in the Netherlands gave us these patches there. Oh, and then the people in the Netherlands, can you believe it? They made these
They
ties.
made it. Oh my gosh.
They gave us these ties when we were over there.
Wow, that was really nice of them.
They
Is
said,
that
"Are
the
they
food?
That's the food, yeah, that's the food drop.
That's
Not
funny.
bombs, it was food.
Oh, good. Oh, and this is your, oh, wow. That's the flowers.
Yeah, thank you, boys. See, that's what we saw. As I say, we came in very, very low over the Netherlands and that. Oh, this is my wife and I
Aw.
at
There's
in the
a reunion?
Netherlands there.
Did you guys have reunions after the war?
Have anyone?
Like reunions? Did everyone come back?
Oh, yeah, we had, we have a 95th Bomb Group reunion, and that's every year, and then there's an 8th Air Force reunion.
Oh, is that
And-
right?
And we go to some of those, not all of them. They're all over the country.
That's
say.
really neat. Now, when did you meet your wife? Did you meet her before you left or after you left, or came back?
After, came back in school, when I went to school afterwards.
Aw.
Yeah.
So you never told us, was there any love in
Anyway,
Europe?
Any love connections across the seas?
Yeah.
no, but
No.
you know, a lot of guys, a lot of guys did end up marrying the English girls. But it was not primarily the flying crews. It was the
Actual
base
army.
crews that were there stationed for many, many years.
Yeah.
And,
So did the girls come back to America with them, or did they stay
oh yeah,
there?
no, they came back.
Is that you?
That's me.
Oh, very handsome. Look at that. Look at that picture.
How are you guys doing on the questions?
Good.
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 How much time, more time?
Like 20 minutes.
You need more time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll come back.
Come back by the end of 8, we'll be done.
I'll give you about 10 more minutes,
Okay.
okay?
15?
And they also gave us this audio of the last day we were in the Netherlands there, and it's the first 5 minutes shows the actual bombers coming over and dropping the food and the people, and then it goes through the whole trip there. That was very good, man. This was Operation Manachauham.
Do you think that your planes are in any of the pictures? Or no?
Our plane probably
plane
is in
you
there
flew?
somewhere. Hans Underwater, I still correspond with him
Oh,
via
really?
via email.
Wow.
Yeah, via email. Okay, you want more questions?
15 and 3.
Just what was it like the day the war ended?
Oh,
When you
everyone
came
was
home.
very happy. Was on the base there, and we all had to have a few drinks for that one.
Yeah, you did. You know how to party.
However, we were getting ready, and shortly after that, we received orders that, see, it was on a B-17 Flying Fortress. We were going to go back and retrain for a B-29 Super Fortress, which were the ones that was the one that dropped the atomic bomb on Japan. And we were going to retrain for that, but fortunately that ended, so we didn't have to do any of that.
Oh, that's good. Then
So,
you got to come
oh,
home.
When you came home.
Yeah.
What was it?
What was
When
it
you
like
came-
When you came home.
when you came home back to Buffalo? How did
Yeah.
you feel? Did they welcome you good?
Oh yeah, no, we got a very good welcome. But as I said before, after the war, the guys didn't talk too much about the war, and that it was until later, and then we started joining some veterans organizations like the Veterans of Foreign Wars and the American Legion, and then you would talk more about it. But that was about it. For some reason, they never did talk a lot about it, even to the family and that.
It was a
Just-
rough time.
Oh, yeah.
Well, overall, did the war affect you in a positive or negative manner? Did you take the experiences with it and learn from it, or were you like the other ones and they didn't really talk about it much and kind of Like,
Did you learn, like,
Was
did you
it,
take
was it
any
like a positive?
How did they take what?
Like, how did
any
it affect you?
experiences from the war? Like, did that change your way of thinking, your change your way
Well,
of living?
Yeah, because sometimes you do something and you're not sure just how this is gonna work out, you know? And then, but you go ahead and do it. This was a case, well, on these chow missions, we did that, and I didn't know, we never knew how serious a situation this was over there until years later we found out, you know, that it was very, very serious. And so, as I say, sometimes you do something which may affect you later on, and it did. We did go back to the Netherlands in the, let's see, this was 1995. We went back in the year 2000. And then we went back to the base in 1992. Visited the base and stayed at a lady's house over there.
That was nice.
Oh, it was really incredible.
What's in the box?
Well, I don't know.
Just memorabilia?
Oh, when we went to the, remember the racetrack I mentioned there?
Yeah.
They dropped these for us there, and they said these were biscuits that they were in cans, oops, that the English had dropped over in cans. I don't know, and they had them. It's hard to believe that they. There's an orange flyer somewhere in there.
Right here.
Oh, here it is. Yeah. We went one place there. They dropped these from the sky to us.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And you got one?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Got several of them somewhere. That's in the back.
Oh, that's really nice.
See, the people were so
Grateful.
grateful. And then, as we were coming out of that racetrack that day we were there, we had our uniform on and so forth. And a young guy stopped me and my wife and he says, "Did you drop food here?" I said, "Yeah." And he put his arms around me. He says, "You know, you saved my grandmother's life."
Aww.
Yeah, because they were starving. And I'll leave any more questions.
Or do you want to add anything that we haven't asked?
Do I what?
Do you want to add anything?
I think I ate it.
Yeah. Okay.
Alright, well,
I don't
thank you very
know.
much.
If you have any specific questions, I'd be happy to answer them, but other than that.
I think we're all set.
We covered pretty good, I guess.
Yeah, we did. Thank you very much for
Okay.
coming and sharing your story.
Oh, thank you.
Is there anything like we could photocopy for the museum?
Well, I don't know. Is there any other stuff that you want to photograph?
Don't lose this.
No.
She just wants to take
No,
time with her
maybe
food.
that for lunch someday.
We just have to wait for this to come back so we can take a picture.
Yeah. I'm gonna take a picture.
You ready for a picture?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Okay.
Should we go tell her that we're...
Yeah. If you want, she should be back in a minute. Is this a bag from the war? Like that you
Oh,
used?
yeah.
That's really, really vintage.
This, yes.
I like
You
it.
know, well, you know, this has a story too.
Oh, tell it.
This, I was issued in 1944. This is what they call our aviator bag. And put the name on it here.
Aww.
And then I brought it back, and then after the war I lost it. I didn't know what the hell happened to it. And my wife and I had a 50th anniversary wedding party about four years ago.
Wow.
My brother's daughter came in. She says, "Irving, I have something for you." She found the bag somewhere in her brother's stuff there.
Wow.
So it hasn't
got it
been
yet?
used, and today's the first day it's been used in,
Wow,
since the war.
that's really cool.
Isn't that something?
That's really neat.
It's quite a big bag too, you know.
I would totally do that.
Okay. Oh yeah, more stuff. Well, you guys did a good job, thanks very much.
No, thanks for
Thanks for
coming.
coming in. Did you have any other plans for today, or
I don't
just
know.
hanging out?
Yeah, we got something going. She's always got
It's
something.
always.
See, we're leaving for Florida Saturday.
Oh, lucky. How long are you gonna be there for?
Well, we're going down there till the 15th of November. Then we're coming back here for 2 weeks.
And then going back?
Then we're going back till May.
Do you, oh, you have like a place
Wow.
down there?
Yeah, do you have a house down there? Or you?
A condo,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
What part of Florida?
Jupiter, Florida.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, that's,
I wish I
we
could
bought
do
that, that's one of the better moves we made. We
So-
bought that in 1998.
Do you live in Buffalo now? Or like Georgia?
Where's your park?
Oh,
Yeah,
down here.
we had, pretty nice house on Bruce Drive off of Sheriff Road.
Oh, that's really close.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. We sold that and we bought 2 condos. One in Florida and one here. One on Chestnut Ridge Road.
Oh, wow. So,
So,
that's neat.
This is custard.
I like it. Yeah, it's all good.
Noses.
You
That
lost.
wasn't fair, guys. That wasn't
You did
fair.
your
Read
whole
it.
hand.
Read it.
who's taking the picture?
Stop!
No, it's the second.
Wait,
You just lost 4 minutes in a row.
Who's taking the picture?
The librarian.
As soon as
Oh.
Chrissy goes and gets there, you can take
You can't do that. You gotta give me
You're not supposed to say it.
I'm so bad at that game.
He
I
knows
lose
this.
every time.
1, 2, 3 noses.
I lost one time in 20 minutes. We're done.
Do you have many more interviews coming up?
I think it's our only one.
Yeah, I think this was our only
I
one.
think each group gets a different person.
We definitely got the best person though.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Aren't you nice? Well, I hope you don't have to go through a war like that.
Yeah. I think my grandpa was in the war, but I don't really know.
Well,
I think that he,
she's really smart.
no, I don't think he was in the war, but I think that he like flew planes like right as the war was ending, like they were gonna, and just in case he had to go to war. Who knows?
My grandpa was stationed in like Alaska.
Just in case.
I'm serious.
Well, you know, you're talking about guys on my crew there. During the war, they had everybody was giving us cigarettes. The churches would send you cigarettes. The Red Cross would give you cigarettes. And then on the base there, they had people giving you cigarettes. I hated cigarettes.
Good. Smoking's not good for you.
Yeah, now,
Uh-oh.
all the guys on my crew, there was about 3 of them that were heavy smokers. They're all dead long ago. No, either lung cancer or throat cancer.
Or their larynx was destroyed by
So-
the smoke and smoking cigarettes.
If you can stay away from that, I think you're wise.
Yeah, me too.
Because I never smoked. My wife did smoke a little bit, but she did it.
Were there drugs over there? Were there a lot of people doing drugs or not
No.
really? No?
No. Never heard of any drugs at all.
That's what 60.
So there was no, yeah, there's no party scene?
No, there was. There's no drugs included. Okay, don't you think you can have a good time without drugs? He just gave me the funniest face.
Do you have grandchildren now?
Yeah.
How old are they?
Well,
Take a stab.
Two of them go to school here.
What's their names?
Dina Tell, Danny Dina Tell, and Thomas Dina Tell.
Tom DiNatale?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't
Yeah,
we
he
know
was
him?
in the band or
Thomas
something.
Kelly.
No, yeah,
That's
yeah,
fine.
I think I know him. He's a senior, right?
Yeah, he's a senior,
Yeah,
and
Tom DiNatale.
his brother's a sophomore, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, does he know you're here?
Let's go find it.
I told Sue.
His
I-
mom?
And I don't know. But they're here somewhere in this building.
Yeah, I know of him. He was in one of my he was in one of my classes last year, actually.
Oh, is he? Yeah. Yeah, he's getting ready to, well, he has applied at a number of colleges, and I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, we'll see. It's the time of the season.
Yeah. You guys all, are you all seniors?
Yeah.
No.
Even that one. She just.
Seniors.
I should get on the applying thing.
Yeah, I know, me too.
I'm behind.
UCC will take me whenever though, so I'm sad. Not kidding.
Let's go.
That's my fun. Yeah, that's my fun.
Where did you go to high school?
I went to high school at Seneca in Buffalo.
Oh, my mom went there.
Yeah, so,
Come on down.
come in.
I think we locked them out.
Oh, lock 'em out.
You locked us out.
Yes.
What's going on in there? She says, what's going on in there?
Out there or in here? I don't
In
know.
here.
Ready for the picture?
Okay, hold on.
Oh.
Let me stop this.
Should we get in front of the flag?